BikeBlogger here, on my way to work today. Topic of the day: bicycle comfort. BikeBlogger here, on my way to work. Topic of the day: bike comfort. Bicycle comfort. It's important to be comfortable on a bicycle, and bicycle comfort comes in many forms, but the most important is the bicycle geometry, the fit, how you fit on the bike. If you have a bike that's like too big or too small for you, it's not going to feel right. Even if it's just a little too big or a little too small for you, it won't feel right. So we'll talk a little bit about bike fit. So if the bike is a little bit too big or a little too small for you, there are a few things you can adjust. You can adjust the seat height. You can raise and lower it. Usually it's just an Allen bolt to do that on the seat post near where the saddle is. You can adjust the saddle tilt, so you can tilt it so maybe a little bit further down. Maybe you want the tilt to be a little down. Car. Maybe you want to tilt it a little up. For most people, just straight flat works fine. So seat height is definitely part of it. Let's see, can I go this way? There's no pedestrians. You want it such that when the pedal is completely down at what we would call a 6 o'clock position on the downstroke, while seated, your knee should be just gently, just slightly bent. So it shouldn't be fully extended. It shouldn't be really bent. That way you know what your seat height is. And that has nothing to do with being able to touch the ground, touch the floor when you're stopped with your butt on the seat. If your seat is at the correct height, generally you won't be able to do that. You'll have to get off of the bicycle seat and put your foot on the ground. That can take a, for many regular cyclists, that isn't a problem. But beginner cyclists, it takes a little bit of practice. Basically just learning to balance yourself, which is a big part of riding a bike because it's only got 2 wheels. I mean, I can't ride a unicycle, but I'll say it's probably not that I can't, just that I won't. I haven't bothered to learn. So you gotta learn how to ride a bike, obviously. Just like learning to turn a bike, you don't steer with the handlebars. You lean your weight to the side. Anyway, more on bike fit. So the 2 key points are saddle height and then the reach, how far you have to reach to hold on to the handlebars, specifically where the brake levers are. This is a personal choice, but most people don't like to feel really stretched out, because then you're leaning way down, and that takes a little bit of flexibility. But also, even if you are flexible, it may just not be comfortable to hold that pose for a long time period. I don't know if that's one way over there or not. It doesn't say it's one way. Let's go this way. So yeah, I wouldn't also want to feel all cramped up on the bike. So first thing you got to do, it depends on what type of handlebars you have, generally speaking. If you have mountain biking handlebars, flat handlebars, generally your riding posture is going to be more upright. So generally those handlebars will be a little closer to you because you're going to be more sitting upright on the bike. And all this has to do with sitting on the saddle. I prefer to get out of the saddle because I ride a single speed bike when I'm accelerating and going up hills. Alright, let's take it off. Let's go left. But it still doesn't, even if you ride a bike out of the saddle, bike fit still matters when you're sitting down. I mean, unless you're riding a BMX bike. Because generally you're just not going to have a good bike fit on a BMX bike. But you're doing just tricks on that bike. You're not riding miles at a time on a BMX bike. I guess unless you're in a race or something. Woo. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have a lot of experience with BMXers, but kind of one and the same because I like to ride single speed, and I think all BMX is single speed. Woo. So bike comfort. Obviously, you know, doing stretches, you know, before or after an exercise can help with your flexibility. I'm no expert on the subject, so I can't say whether you should do it before or after, but generally stretching is good for you. So another car. Okay, here we go. There we go. There's an opening. So bicycle comfort, you can pick different saddles. Now, the number one important thing when you're riding a bike, let's get in the left lane. The number one important thing is that you're not moving around while seated. By that I mean you're not getting friction, you know, back and forth on your seat, which was the original intent of those bicycle pants with the cushions in them. Originally, I don't think they had any cushion. They just had a leather outer to prevent, you know, again, slipping around on a bike seat. But also, bike fit is a large part of that. Nowadays, these bicycle pants, they have cushions in them to, I guess, lessen the blow when you hit bumps. It still doesn't mean that you don't have to have a good bike fit. You don't have to pay for one. You can do this. You can do this yourself up the hill. All right. You can tell I'm going a little different way today. I like to mix it up. Whew. That truck stinks. It's also pointed the wrong way on the one-way street. They're doing work here. Gracious. Okay, we'll go this way. Whew. So yeah, you can get a cushy seat. Now, in my opinion, when I started riding a bike, I had a cushy seat. You know, I purposely went out and bought a really, you know, foam, density foam, whatever, sort of a seat with gel in it, which is popular. So you gotta go left. Go this way. Which was nice. I had it on my first bike. I want to be able to get out of this community somewhere. I think there's an exit somewhere on here. Hope I'm not going in circles. But hey, that's what life is about, right? Going in circles, round trips. Round and around and around. But I've found that using a harder saddle feels more comfortable to me on longer rides, even short rides. Now, it takes time for your butt to get used to it, but you will get used to it. It is harder, though, I think, for people who are, I guess I should say, overweight. People that, you know, have obviously more weight on their butt when they're sitting down. And, okay, we're just leaving this. All right, we're just going back out to the main street. I shouldn't have even gone in here. Oh, well. I have to go down to the next light, that's all. So it's just a matter of getting used to it, getting the right saddle width. I have a video on that. There we go. I need to actually go like quite a bit further to the west here, because I got a route in my mind right now. Which way I want to go. So to change the reach on the bike, you can change the handlebars. I did not want to get whacked by that backhoe back there that's gonna like turn all of a sudden. I had someone do that with a 2x4 and they almost whacked me in the face. Not looking what they were doing there. Swinging stuff out into the street. But anyway, you can change the handlebar width. Generally the width of the handlebars are pretty standard, but I mean, if you have overly narrow or broad shoulders, you generally want the width to be equal with your shoulders. I think let's go straight. If you feel like you're having a little bit of trouble breathing when you're working hard on the bike, wider handlebars might help open up your chest, you know, a little. Let's go this way. You can also install a longer or a shorter bicycle stem on modern bicycles. That's the let's see, can I get out this way? That is the piece of the handlebar assembly between the handlebars and the fork. And let's see. Oh gosh, I don't know. Let's go this way. Kind of turned around. This isn't my neighborhood. So you can kind of there are definitely things you can do. You can have a bike shop do it for you. Unfortunately, a lot of these things, they cost money. Sometimes at a bike shop they may loan you or let you do a test ride with a saddle on your own bike before you buy. So ask about that. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go straight here actually. What else? You know, pedals are pretty standard. Most people use flat pedals, which are not with the clips and the special shoes. I got videos on that sort of stuff. Being comfortable with that. Again, it does take some trial and error. Oh my gosh, the speed limit's 15. I'm going 21. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Woo. Let's go to the bank. Let's go to the bank. That person's smoking. Okay. Obviously live a healthy lifestyle. Don't smoke if you're gonna do aerobic activity. It's gonna make it harder on you. Let's see here. Get up on the sidewalk. Sidewalk cycling. Sidewalk cycling. if you get saddle sores. If you don't know what that is, thumbs up, you're doing it right, whatever it is. If you're getting that, generally it's because of bad bike fit or bad clothing fit, for the reasons I've already explained, basically. It's pretty cool in here. It's not hot like outside. We're underground. Going underneath the freeway. What else? What else? Bicycle comfort. You know, the more you do it, the less it hurts, right? Don't, ease yourself into it. Don't just jump on a bicycle after, I don't know, not riding a bike for a couple years and think you're just gonna all of a sudden, go on a 50-mile weekend ride or something. You're not going to feel well afterwards. Right. You're not gonna feel well afterward. I don't have a list with me, so if the rest of you have tips, leave them in the comment section below for other people. I'll try to think of more, or post more in the video description on how to make bicycle commuting more comfortable for you. For you. For you. As you probably noticed, I've had a very quiet bike commute so far. We're about to get into the more dense parts of the county here in a moment, and I'll get a little busier. Let's see, where does that go? Go this way. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. This video is probably only halfway over. We're going 19 miles an hour right now. I'm always tweaking my bicycle fit, but I think I got it pretty much dead on now. If you want to transfer your components, from one bike frame to another bike frame, and you want the same sort of feeling geometry-wise on the bike, which is limited to really the geometry and the fork geometry, but if you want to at least have the same reach and same saddle height, you can do the measurements off of what's known as the bottom bracket. That is the center point of where your crank arms attach to the bike. You can try that. So if I went straight ahead here, I'd go back toward where I used to live. I'm not going to do that. Going to go to the mall here. Okie dokie. I'm cutting through the mall now. On my way to work today. On my way to work today. Huh. Oh, don't hit the bush. Oh, oh. Yeah, normally I hate stop signs, but that last stop sign, that was a really smart stop sign. There should be another one right here, yeah. That's a good spot for a stop sign. In case people are rushing out of the parking garage there. It's a huge blind spot. Okie dokie, so what else is there to say? Enjoy the rest of the commute. That's all I got to say, right? What has worked and not worked for me? Again, personal preference. I used to have a bike that was with mountain biking handlebars. I actually do not have a bike with mountain biking handlebars anymore. That is the flat handlebars. That's because I injured my wrist years ago while riding a bike. I fell and sort of fell on my wrist and essentially. So I just find the position of holding the handlebars like this versus like this. Like this way you do it on road and bullhorn handlebars. I just found it uncomfortable on my wrist, so that's why I just don't ride with those handlebars much anymore. Although I do have them on my e-bike, but I don't have them on my, my road bikes. The flat handlebars are nice because they give you more positions. I mean, less positions, but they give you more control. You're sitting upright more. You can see things better when you're more upright. You're not as aerodynamic, but it feels like you can handle the bike better. So that's the advantage of mountain handlebars. What else? Yeah, I just prefer bullhorn. Generally because if you watch my videos, you're like, oh, this guy rides his bike all the time, or he must be very flexible or something, but I honestly am not a huge fan of road bars because I just don't use the drops very much. Now, it's probably because the road bars I do have a more standard drop, which forces you to lean down even further. A popular style of road bike handlebars are what's called as compact handlebars, and they're not as extreme on the drop. Ugh. Woo! This is how we do it. Up a hill with the headwind. Up. 90-degree weather, no less, and humidity. Alright. Okie dokie. What else? Let's make a left here. We are in Brentwood, Missouri right now. We're on downhill. Oh man, we just went uphill. Means we have to go back uphill in a moment here. If you want to get better at riding hills, ride more hills. That's pretty much it. If you want to be more comfortable on a bike, wear clothing that wicks sweat and allows it to evaporate quicker. Or just ride your bike naked. No, I'm not saying to do that. There's not much you can do about sweat. Specific bicycle clothing will help, though. It will help. It's up to you whether you want to wear it or not. I prefer not to because most of my rides are not very long. lock it or leave it. Or lose it. Lock it or lose it. Leave it in your car and lose it if you don't lock your doors. Okay. Alright. Fortunately, there shouldn't be any more climbing for a little bit. Woo. That's a workout. Just the last video, I was like, do you cruise to work or do you race to work? I generally do a little bit in between. Being that I ride a single-speed bike instead of a fixed gear bike, I'm just cruising on the downhills. And you usually hear my freewheel just buzzing away. A constant reminder that I should speed up. Alright, he's letting me through. I must say, I am seeing more police vehicles parked around these neighborhoods. I think they're really clamping down on the theft that goes on. It's a really nice community. It's just it's right by the highway, so a thief can just take exit 9, steal some goods, and jump back on the freeway. Rinse and repeat. Woo. Alrighty then. Here we go. Lock it or lose it. Lock it or lose it. BikeBlogger here, on my way to work today. Topic of the day: bicycle comfort. Oh man, this feels like deja vu. I feel like I've done this before. Woo! So how do you feel comfortable on a bike? I ride my bike. Eventually you'll figure out what kind of bike you like the most. Most people will settle on an in-between until they really figure out what they like. You know, you won't start with a road bike or a full-on mountain bike. You know, you'll start with a hybrid, or sometimes it's called a hardtail with the suspension up front. Most bikes with front fork suspension, you can, you know, lock it out so it's not all bouncy on you when you don't really need all that bounce. But again, you know, I mean, some people would prefer the extra suspension, even though if the bike is not, you know, it doesn't weigh over 40 pounds or something, and you're not going, you know, 20 miles an hour, you probably don't need that suspension on the road. Burning up out here. Let me go. Let me go. Okay, okay. No. Squeak. Now feels like a nice day to go for a swim in an outdoor pool. Now I'll just ride my bike into a pool. Splash! not sure what chlorine would do to bicycles. Probably ain't good for them. Cat. It's a cat. Okie dokie. Okie dokie doodly doo. We're gonna go past the swimming pool in just a moment. Speak of the devil. I think it's about time for them to repave this road. It's getting kind of more bumpy. Not much worse than it was a few years ago, though. There's a pool back in here. And there's nobody at the pool. Quick shot of the pool. Feel like cooling off. What is that thing? Is that owned by one of the lifeguards? Yeah. Interesting piece of equipment there. I guess the levers turn the bike. Oh, it's got interesting. It's like a massive tricycle or something. Okay. Bye bye pool. Wish I knew you more. Woo-wee. That's a big hill. Look at that hill there. Okay. Get on the little bike trail here for a moment. Alright, now we go past the volleyball pits. Where is everybody? Nobody's outside enjoying this weather. They're probably doing something stupid like being inside and studying mathematics or something. I give you a little math, little numbers. I'm going 15 miles per hour right now. Past the dog park. There aren't any dogs in there. Go past the there used to be like an indoor cycling studio over here. Let's see if there's anyone in that warehouse. Slow it down. Wait for Cody's pickup truck. Alright. Nope, nobody. No, they don't have the doors open. Spinning. Probably because they have the air conditioning running. Oh. I'd rather have the air conditioning shut off and the dock doors open and actually looking outside personally, but that's why I'm riding my bike outside. Whew. Past an indoor swimming pool. Little fishes. Little fishes. Should be able to cut to this parking lot. Ugh. Ugh. Oh. What is going on here? Got like a barrier there for cars. Ugh. Being comfortable on a bicycle. Personally, my favorite saddle now is a Shimano. I have a video on it. It's Let's see, I'm trying to, yeah, I had to look at my saddle for a second. It's the Shimano Pro Stealth. It's a pretty sweet saddle. It's got, by road bike standards, it's got a pretty good amount of cushion, and it's got a big cutout in the middle, a big opening, which I find really nice. So all my weight is on my sit bones and nothing else. At least that's the theory. You know, I'm sure I have a little bit of weight on part of my underside that's not just bone, but generally the idea is that I'm mostly sitting on my butt bone, not on, you know, any muscle or tissue there. La-di-da-da-da. La-di-da-da-da. Another thing you can do is get yourself some extra bar tape. That's that foamy stuff that that you put on the handlebars themselves. You know, use an extra roll of that stuff and just put more of it on your handlebars to take some of the shock out of your hands. Wear gloves with little gel pads on the inside of them. Take some of that shock out of your arms and hands. If you have a mountain bike with those flat handlebars, you know, swap out the oh shoot, what do you call them? The grips. Switch the grips. Oh, up the hill. Yeah, switch the grips on the handlebars. Make them a little more cushy. Because there's 3 contact points on a bicycle. Yeah, I know. It took me like 20 minutes to get to this, right? There's the pedals, the saddle, and the handlebars. Where your feet, your butt, and your hands go. Woo. So, besides the frame, which is what I began with, which really determines your pose on the bike, the secondary thing are the contact points. Now, I have to mention it, but tires. Oh my gosh. If you just use fatter tires with a lower air pressure, it'll give you more bounce. I would definitely do that before I installed or I used a suspension fork. Because you can put nice sized tires on both your front and rear wheel and take that shock out of your hands and your butt. I don't believe there's any sort of a cushioning thing for the pedals. I could be wrong. Maybe there's, like, you know, pillow pedals. Oh, I'm spitting over myself. Spitting on myself. Pillow pedals. Generally there you can just, you know, wear some shoes that, you know, have more cushion in them. Now, you are going to get a little better power transfer into the pedal, into the chain, into the wheels, into the bike, into the speed, if you have shoes that are solid, like, you know, like those carbon fiber shoes you can buy. They're just very, well, they're lightweight, but they're also, more importantly, they're stiff, really rigid. You can put down more power that way, but I don't know. I mean, is there such a thing as a comfortable bicycle shoe that doesn't, you know, feel like a big shock through your leg? I don't know. Then again, I'm not super sensitive to these things. I do suppose when I get older and I become more frail, it might feel worse. But then again, you know, it's all about keeping your bone density alive. You know, try to keep some strong bones. Eat a healthy diet. Do what you can to slow the aging process. Do whatever you can, but usually it's diet and exercise. And of course, don't do drugs. At least don't do tobacco. Well, anyway, maybe just find some roads that are smooth. Don't ride your bike on bumpy roads. Like this road. Woo. And that about does it for me. Oh wow, they got new construction here. That's what they were doing all that time. Loading bay. So yeah, that about does it for the BikeBlogger this week. I enjoy you guys and gals coming along with me on my bike ride commutes to work. It's fun having you along, reading your comments, reading your words of encouragement. Keeps me going. I hope I keep you going. Spread the word. Bicycle commuting, it's a thing. See you next time. For those who watch my videos all the way to the end, or for those who skip to the end, gold medal for you. Thanks for watching.